Throughout your enterprise, you are already shaping opportunities into mission-critical outcomes, insights into value. But there's a much brighter future ahead of us. With your data, your expertise, and with the power of AI, you can break through. It's time to supercharge intelligence and automation with enterprise AI. The foundation, the context, the partner. It's all there. So get ready to break through with Hyland.
Now, please welcome Chief Executive Officer Jitesh Ghai.
Welcome to CommunityLIVE 2025. How's everybody feeling? Oh, come on now. You just had breakfast. You're all fed. You're ready to go. How's everybody feeling? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I am extremely excited to be here with all of you this week. You know, last year was my first CommunityLIVE. And as excited as I was then, I'm even more excited this year. We have an incredible number of innovations to share with all of you. All the things that the team has been up to, all the amazing innovations they've delivered since last year's CommunityLIVE. And we have some really exciting updates of where we're headed next. Lots to share in these very unique and exciting times to deliver transformative, life-changing value to those that we serve. But before I get into all of that detail, I've got a question for you. If you think through human history, can you think of an innovation that completely transformed humanity? How we work, how we live, how we play, we learn? For me, it's electricity. Electricity didn't exist for us. We hadn't harnessed it. And then all of a sudden, we had it. And when we did, everything changed. We used it. We developed innovations on top of it. But electricity had existed for centuries. We had been observing it, playing with it. In fact, it was in the 1700s that Volta built the beginnings of charge storage, what we now call the modern battery. And there was continuous innovations, but it wasn't until Nikola Tesla created alternating current that long-range distribution of electricity was possible. Alternating current combined with the infrastructure to distribute it to all of us globally made electricity ubiquitous. And once it was ubiquitous, it changed everything. We're at a content data AI conference. Why am I talking about electricity? Well, you know, what's interesting is in this era of artificial intelligence, everybody's talking about artificial intelligence, but there's some, interesting parallels. AI has existed for decades. And in the compute world, that is centuries. Folks have been working on AI since the 50s. The first chatbot was in the 60s. And we've been making steady progress, innovating, building on our AI capabilities. But it wasn't until the generalized pre-trained transformer was consumerized when we all had our collective ChatGPT moment in Q4 of 2022, combined with the rapid innovations in agentic AI and enterprise integrations that we are now in the era of ubiquitous intelligence and automation. And it promises to change humanity. It promises to change how we work, how we live, how we play, how we learn. It promises to change our organizations and who we serve. What does ubiquitous enterprise intelligence mean in this context? It's a connected and contextual understanding of your organization. The people that are responsible for the decisions that operate the business processes, relying on the systems, the content, the data to make those decisions, all connected together to give you a contextual understanding of your organization in real time, a living record of your organization. Many of you in your organization have a deep understanding of your line of business. This is enterprise-wide intelligence. What does enterprise automation at ubiquitous scale mean? It's a pervasive agentic compute resource that's coordinating, deciding, acting together in concert. It's elastically scalable. It's open and interoperable. It has to be governed for its decisions and actions. Of course, security is foundational. Transparency is critical to give all of you the confidence of this compute, its actions, and empower you to scale it across your enterprise. I say all of this, yet there was a recent report from MIT, I think a couple of weeks ago. $40 billion have been spent on Gen AI in the enterprise. 95% of projects have failed. The 5% that have succeeded have realized millions in exponential value for their organizations. And the failures aren't because of model quality. The failures are because of knowledge, integration, and workflow fit challenges. We agree. In fact, I shared as much this time last year at CommunityLIVE. In the enterprise, your content is more fragmented than it's ever been. Your data is more fragmented than it's ever been. Hard to deliver knowledge and enable AI in this fragmented landscape. Your business processes are more fragmented than they've ever been, and it's growing. It's very hard to find workflow fit in such a fragmented process landscape. Your applications are growing 1,000 and beyond. How do you drive integrations for AI in this application fragmentation? And your people are also fragmented in this new hybrid workforce. But what if I told you that despite all this fragmentation, you have been building the foundations for ubiquitous intelligence and automation? We, collectively, with Hyland, we have all been building the foundations of enterprise intelligence and automation at ubiquitous scale. Today, I'll share with you how we have been building the foundation together, how we are innovating for you to realize that foundation. On that foundation, how we're going to power the agentic enterprise and realize ubiquitous enterprise intelligence and automation for your organizations. And I'm very excited we have some innovators and leaders across industries joining us that are realizing enterprise AI outcomes today. Let's start with building the foundation. As the leader in enterprise content management, you have entrusted us with your most mission-critical data that your organization relies on. And collectively, we are custodians of hundreds of petabytes of the most mission-critical and sensitive data. Data that Anthropic or Mistral or Meta or OpenAI do not have access to. You have entrusted us with it to ensure it is governed, compliant, and used appropriately for the right purposes. With this data, you have innovated with Hyland to automate your most mission-critical business processes. You've built out workflows to onboard patients, to approve loans, mortgages, insurance claims. Millions of workflows running daily, 500 million decisions orchestrated annually. And on all of this, we have delivered unified application experiences across this fragmented landscape to give you the confidence in your operational metrics, to give you the data, the KPIs you need to operate your business with packaged out-of-the-box integrations and low-code experiences. And collectively, we've done the math on this, collectively, Hyland innovations and your innovations leveraging Hyland are empowering 500 million people globally. And we are AI enabling all of it as the leader in enterprise content management. We have the great honor of serving 14,000 of you, having best-in-class, exceptional loyalty with best-in-class renewal rates. We're delivering thousands of projects annually, ensuring and investing in our community with thousands of certifications, directly as well as through our multi-hundred-strong partner network. On this foundation that we have collectively built together, we are AI enabling all of this content, all of this data across all of these industries. What's unique to us is our depth of industry expertise because of our focus on business processes and business value, not just records management, across the most mission-critical industries globally. And as I said, whether it's content or processes or applications or people, we are AI enabling all of it. We realized this, and that's why this time last year, we launched the industry's first and only Content Innovation Cloud. We embraced fragmentation through a federated AI-powered architecture to deliver AI enablement across all Hyland repositories, as well as any other data source within your enterprise. And through this architecture, we realize content intelligence, process intelligence, and application intelligence to power you, to power your people, and all of those that you serve. Now, last year, we shared with you a bold and ambitious roadmap of how we are going to build out these cloud and AI services to realize this foundation of enterprise AI. And working closely with many of you in this room, customers and partners, it is my incredible honor to share with you that the team delivered on every one of our commitments. We said we'd do it, and we did it. 5 new cloud and AI services launched since the beginning of this year. Another 4 to come in the balance of this year. And in the cloud, we're continuously delivering, we're continuously updating. All of these live and in production. Want to see this amazing innovation in action? Oh, come on now. Want to see this amazing innovation in action? All right, please join me in welcoming Colleen Albert.
Good morning, CommunityLIVE.
Colleen, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jitesh.
Team Hyland has been innovating and delivering incredible amounts of innovations over the last 12 months. You need to make good on all of this innovation. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to share what we've been working on for the past year here at Hyland. Specifically, I'm going to share a healthcare-specific application of just some of our Content Innovation Cloud, or CIC, services. Everything I'm about to show you is live in production and available for you all to experience in Community Central. Our story today centers around a patient claims processing department at a medium-sized health system. They receive upwards of 2 million pieces of billing correspondence annually that they have to process manually. But we're going to intelligently automate their work, resulting in millions of dollars saved in recovered reimbursement. You ready to see it in action?
Millions of dollars saved. Sounds exciting to me. Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's a big deal. Let me show you. As I log into the Content Innovation Cloud, you'll notice a fresh, modern take on UI. And I'll begin as a solution builder in our studio modeling interface. So for those that are new, this is the behind-the-scenes configuration of AI-powered services. And we'll start with intelligent document processing, or affectionately known as IDP, which is comprised of not just OCR tools, but AI agents that perform document separation, classification, and extraction. In the case of our healthcare package solution for revenue cycle correspondence, we've pre-configured some of the most common content types as classifications. But I want to show you just how easy it is to configure a new class. For my refund request, all I have to do is type the name of the document. I don't have to describe it. I don't have to configure a template. I don't have to train the agent. It's that easy. This type of time savings means that these solutions are up and running in a fraction of the time.
So you just configured it.
Just like that.
This is not like Capture, which is weeks and months of configuration and training.
No, not at all. Not even close. This is a whole new world of Capture. All right, now I'm going to import a few files to give it a test run. But before I do, I want to mention our Content Federation service. We designed the CIC, or the Content Innovation Cloud, as a single integrated cloud platform with all of you, our Hyland customers, in mind. If you notice OnBase here in the upper right-hand corner, we've included opportunities to import sample documents from OnBase to test, or to import existing configuration, leveraging existing document types and connecting them to CIC IDP. We've done all of the mapping work for you.
So you're doing this with OnBase through the Federation service.
Yeah.
The same Federation service architected for Alfresco, Nuxio, and other repositories.
All the Hyland platforms federated in this same way.
And non-Hyland.
Yes.
Awesome.
And non-Hyland as well. So I'm going to browse to just a few documents on my desktop and import them into the system so we can give this a run. As the documents come into the system, you'll notice that our sample batch is composed of 3 documents. But I want to draw your attention to my local lockbox file. This is a single file, but it's composed of multiple individual documents. So let's get right to it. We'll go ahead and classify and separate this batch. And now our agents get to work separating that local lockbox file and appropriately classifying all of the individual documents. Now here's, my friends, where it gets good. I want to draw your attention to the additional documentation request that you see up here at the top. Now you'll recall this is the document type that we connected from OnBase. And our agent went ahead and used all of those OnBase keywords and automatically populated them with an incredible rate of accuracy. But it gets better. My favorite document in this batch is our insurance information form. And before I do any keyword extraction, I want to point out 2 things. The first is this document is in Spanish, and the second is that it is handwritten. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now I'm going to ask our extraction agent to suggest fields for me. I'm not typing them all in. The agent is suggesting the fields. And it read Spanish handwriting and translated the keyword values into English. Yeah, I mean, and if I want to add a keyword, no problem. All I need to do is ask, is this document been signed? and let the extraction agent know I want a yes or a no. Now, what's interesting in this example is that this is not a value that appears as text on the document. We're asking the agent to reason or reasonably determine if the document has been signed. And now it gets to work extracting that value, and we see yes, it lets us know it's been signed, and it provides us both an OCR and extraction confidence level that we can use downstream for further processing if we want a human to review.
All this metadata, enriched metadata, and configurability all out of the box.
All out of the box with IDP. And at this point, our IDP configuration is complete, and it's time to switch gears and move on to the processing. Now, the beauty of the CIC, our single cloud platform, is that IDP and Automate are tightly coupled, so one flows right into the other. In the case of our revenue cycle correspondence, we've used a predefined template based on the IDP classifications that we just configured. And within this process, I want to highlight just a few things. The first is, thanks to our Content Federation service, we are automatically executing autofills and validating keyword data against OnBase. And in the case where we need a human user to review, we're building those validation screens automatically. Thanks to the CIC, our intake workload has been mostly automated. Okay? So now we have all of the documents and we know what they are. And at this stage in the game, the documents are going to enter OnBase to take advantage of our existing and extensive integration between OnBase and Epic. Now, what would happen next, ordinarily, is that a human user would have to review all of these documents and decide what to do. But given the volumes we're talking about, I mean millions of documents annually, how would they ever keep up? And the fact of the matter is, most health organizations, they don't.
For the non-healthcare folks, Epic being the electronic medical record and electronic health record system, commonplace in healthcare.
Yeah, of record.
Go ahead.
So at this point, we have to agent enable it. We got to take some of the workload off of our human users, which is what brings me to the biggest Hyland headline of the summer, the release of Agent Builder. We can create AI agents to replace some of the manual steps in our process. And it's as easy as create agent. And here, I'll just give it a generic test name. And now I describe the agent and tell it what to do in my own natural language. But in the interest of time, I want to draw your attention to two agents that we've previously created. Our first routing and prioritization agent is built with Claude, but all of our content intelligence products are LLM agnostic, meaning that you can choose from industry-leading models or bring your own. We're asking this agent to review the document, triage it, determine required actions, and set priority based on a policy document and guardrails. Our second agent in the chain is summarizing the request, outlining next steps, and taking action. And in this case, we're going to use an OnBase MCP server.
You said MCP server. Can you share a bit about what an MCP server is?
Yeah, absolutely. MCP was new to me too. It's an open interoperability standard that allows our agents and systems to stay connected in a secure and standardized way. And truthfully, this is new technology, and it's pretty cool that we're already using it. All right, so at this stage of the game, my agents have been created. And so you might be wondering, how are the agents, Colleen, that you just created in the CIC going to replace human interaction within my existing OnBase workflows? Well, all we have to do is connect the two.
We're trying to move to...
Yeah, there we go. Let me get to my... And here we are in OnBase Studio. So taking a look at our billing and correspondence processing workflow, you'll notice that we've replaced our route to human step with two new agentic actions. One for that routing and prioritization, and the second for the summary and next steps. And now here's the cool part. In order to call this agent directly from my OnBase workflow, all I have to do is set the universally unique ID of the agent as a workflow property. And that's it. Now these two worlds are connected, and the agent can take over some of the human tasks.
This is super powerful. So I'm a big believer, you've heard it from me before, we meet our customers where they are. There's millions of workflows globally, and you've taken a human step in a workflow and made it agentic, made the workflow agentic.
Absolutely, and not just for Hyland products, but we can insert one of these CIC AI agents into any BPMN compliant tool. All right, are we ready to see these agents in action in OnBase? Yes or yes? Yes. All right. So let's take a look here at my agentic OnBase workflow. I mean, doesn't that just sound cool? Agentic OnBase workflow. And we're here under the lens of a patient billing specialist that has to review all of the work that our agents have done. Now, this interface specifically is our OnBase application builder, which you all should be using, by the way, to provide a personalized OnBase experience. All these gray boxes represent workflow queues or workview filters. And now I know what you're thinking. At first glance, it looks like there's a lot of work left to do. But remember our volumes, and also that the agents have done a lot of the work already to triage the documents and take many of the next steps for us. So let's take a look at one of our claims that requires additional documentation, specifically this high priority item for Mary. This, my friends, is still OnBase. Here, the agent has summarized the request, provided next steps, and given us a reason for the evaluation, which builds trust and confidence, also known as explainable AI. Now, this particular claim is the insurance company asking for additional documents before they pay it. Now, what we've been able to do is have the agent find the documents in OnBase for us. I'm going to let that sit out there for a second. The agent found the documents. Now all our human user has to do is review. Right? Now, I could walk off this stage right now, hopefully having sufficiently blown the minds of everyone in this room, but I've got just one more thing to show. What if, dream with me a minute, what if we could prevent some of these additional documentation requests from entering the system in the first place because we provided the requested documentation up front? Well, wouldn't you know it, the Content Innovation Cloud can help with that too. In this case, knowledge discovery, directly linked from our OnBase app builder and all of our other OnBase clients, allows me to ask questions of my content and receive insightful answers. Think of these agents on the left as content specialists with domain expertise. My patient billing specialist has access to my additional documentation requests and is built with MetaLlama. And so now I'll ask my question, and bear with me as I copy and paste here. Which medical procedures most frequently require additional documentation? And now our agent gets to work determining which procedures require them the most. This is a task no human user could ever do in a reasonable amount of time. And now we have insights to refine our process, which means that the hospital gets paid sooner with a lot less overhead. And I think most importantly, it means our patients receive the best possible care. And that's what it's all about.
This is super powerful. You all know us. We've innovated together to drive operational workloads. But from unstructured data, we're now also delivering analytical outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely. The Hyland teams that worked on this, have absolutely outdone themselves, and I'm proud to be part of it.
And you have outdone yourself, as always. A round of applause for Colleen. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Thank you. In a few short minutes, you saw Colleen showcase all the new knowledge and automation cloud services that are powered by the Content Innovation Cloud, powered by our federated architecture, across OnBase, across Alfresco, Nuxio, as well as other repositories, data sources within your organization. That is why we conceived the Content Innovation Cloud, and that is how we're realizing the foundation of enterprise AI for all of you. I don't know why my slides are moving, but where are we going next? We're powering, on this foundation, we're powering the agentic enterprise. We spoke about the era of ubiquitous intelligence and automation. To power the agentic enterprise, how do we harness ubiquitous enterprise intelligence and automation? How do we realize that? Well, it starts with the Content Innovation Cloud. Through our federated architecture, we're unifying content, processes, and applications, and AI enabling them. But we are now not just unifying and AI enabling them and relating them to each other, we're relating them across each other. We're taking the hundreds of millions of artifacts across your content and data landscape, across your processes, across your fragmented application landscape, and we're connecting it to give you a contextual, complete, real-time understanding of your entire enterprise and its operations. Connecting the people responsible for making the decisions and operating those mission-critical business processes with the data, the systems, the applications that they rely on to make those decisions. We're doing this in real time to give you your living record of your enterprise and its context. We're doing so with the industry's first enterprise context engine, responsible for real-time assembly of the context and management of it through this intelligence, enabling agent context engineering to instruct agents to plan and operate and drive various operations. And critical is continuous reinforced learning in this real-time system. All of this built on the Content Innovation Cloud's federated architecture, realizing context from Hyland repositories, as well as other ECMs, as well as other structured data sources, your ERP, your CRM, your HCM, your enterprise data warehouse. This new layer in the Content Innovation Cloud of intelligence is powering the knowledge and automation tools that Colleen just showcased. And on this foundation of innovation, we are realizing the enterprise agent mesh, a multi-agent architecture, not for one use case, not for one department, but across use cases, across departments, across your enterprise. This enterprise agent mesh is going to deliver order to your organization, to its compute resources. Working in concert with the context engine, this agent mesh will orient itself from the ubiquitous intelligence from the context engine. It'll understand and plan what actions it needs to take. It will then proceed and retrieve the data it needs from your fragmented landscape to then decide and act and execute the necessary actions and continuously review those actions. This agent mesh is elastically scalable. It's built on open and interoperable standards. Of course, not just data needs to be governed, but the decisions and actions of this agent mesh also need to be governed, needs to be secure, and of course, transparency is critical to give you and your organization the confidence of its operations, its actions, and the confidence to scale it enterprise-wide. This agent mesh, combined with our deep expertise across the industries that we serve, We are launching the industry's multiple industry firsts. We're launching the healthcare enterprise agent mesh, the insurance and banking enterprise agent mesh, the higher ed and government enterprise agent mesh, and we're enabling you to customize and build your own agent meshes for your bespoke purposes in your enterprise. We're doing this to power you, your people, and those that you serve. This is a radical expansion of our Content Innovation Cloud vision and strategy to empower you to realize your agentic enterprise, to give you the power of ubiquitous enterprise intelligence and ubiquitous enterprise automation. Now, the team has been working incredibly hard to build out these prototypes, and I'm super excited to invite Tess Van Hoff on stage to share some of these amazing innovations for you. Please join me in welcoming Tess.
Hey, Jitesh.
Tess.
Yeah.
I just shared with everybody here, the thousands more online, that we're ushering in the era of ubiquitous enterprise intelligence and automation. You ready to deliver the goods?
Absolutely, I am. This is very exciting, and I thought what better way than to ground us here in a real-world example. So
awesome.
Today, we're going to talk through the unemployment benefits process. So this is a vital lifeline, but it's often bogged down by complexity and confusion and delays. Unstructured content slows down the process and causes errors. In fact, I found this unbelievable. In FY24 alone, the US government made nearly $5 billion in improper unemployment payments because of errors and fraud, which is staggering.
5 billion, wow.
5 billion, yeah. But beyond the financial impact, caseworkers are spending hours doing manual reviews across many disparate systems, which is frankly just pulling them away from interacting with people who need their support most. But luckily, as you said, Agentic AI gives us a better way. So I'm so excited today to be showing us how the Hyland agent mesh combined with the enterprise context engine are powering a reimagined unemployment process. We're going to see 4 times faster processing and incredible productivity increases. So you guys ready to take a look?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, just get my demo set up here, and we are ready to go. So I am going to begin as an applicant on a state unemployment benefits site where, unfortunately, I need to apply for unemployment. So I'm going to click Apply Now, and I'm greeted by our application assistant who informs me they're going to make this process as painless as possible.
This benefits website powered by Hyland's Enterprise Agent Mesh and the Content Innovation Cloud.
Exactly, yes. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And just really quickly, I need to provide my reason for unemployment. I was laid off. And we'll go ahead and click Submit. And then, of course, there's some documents they'll need from me. So I'm going to browse out and find what I've compiled to go with my application. And I will upload those and click Submit. And here, as they like to say, is where the magic really starts to happen. So our application assistant is invoking a mesh of agents that are going to power this process. So you can see they're beginning by orienting themselves to the task, analyzing those documents that I provided, and basically making sure that I am who I say I am and that the documents are legitimate. From here, they're able to go out and retrieve any additional information that's needed. So that could include statutes and eligibility guidelines. They can cross-reference other sources, both internal like SAP or external like government databases, and even public sites to validate my work history.
The power of our Content Federation service.
Exactly, yes. And then from here, they can also identify additional programs that I might be eligible for during my time of unemployment. Now, once they've compiled all of that information, these agents are able to make an educated and very well-informed decision on my eligibility for unemployment. And once that decision is made, they can execute on it, which in this case means they're going to finalize my application for me with all of that information, assess it for readiness, and get it submitted. So in just about, a minute or so, agents were able to power that whole process, and I'm now being provided with a summary of my completed application, my case manager contact info, and I'm told I'll have an in-person interview within a day or so. So I'm going to say I've got that. And on my final screen here, I'm introduced to some additional programs that I am eligible for. So the agents identified for these programs for me as well, and I can actually apply right from here. So something that previously would have taken days, if not hours, has been completed by our agent mesh in a matter of minutes.
Now, I got to ask, and it's probably because I've been watching a lot of Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter with my kids, but what kind of sorcery is this? What wizardry is this?
Fair question. I figured you might ask, right? So we've got some slides here to help us visualize what's really happening behind the scenes. So we'll go ahead and pull up those slides. And here we go. So you just saw an agent, rather, orient itself to the task at hand, retrieve whatever information was needed, make a decision, execute on that, and review it for readiness for that one unemployment application that we submitted. But this scales to the hundreds, if not thousands, of applications that state agencies are processing daily. And of those thousands, only a fraction will actually need human oversight. And why is that? Well, because it's not just one agent, it's a mesh of agents, each one focused on a specific task, but all working together toward that common goal. And as you heard from Jitesh, they're informed by the enterprise context engine. So this is going to provide that historical data and institutional knowledge that results in very sound reasoning from our agents and confident actions. And then from here, it's not just, of course, the unemployment mesh. It's all core areas of the state agency able to collaborate together via MCP, as you heard Colleen say, which is that open standard for interoperability, which means actually, since it's an open standard, these agents can collaborate with non-Hyland agents as well.
Extremely important, the interoperability.
Yes, absolutely.
So on this wizardry and magic, there's a lot of folks that have been freed up from the mundane. What do they get up to?
What are they doing? Yeah, so they're going to get to focus on more strategic and engaging work. But rest assured, there's still plenty of work to go around for all of us, and there will be those complex or nuanced issues where we still need human oversight. So let me show you an example of what one of those might look like. So in this case, I'm going to go to my caseworker dashboard. So now we're the caseworker working through the unemployment cases. And you can see on my dashboard, I'm armed with all the information that will enable me to do my job. I've got a bunch of performance metrics in the center here compiled by my agents so I can see number of active cases, average resolution time, and then I have the full list of cases down below that I can expand upon. But it's up above where we have those handful of cases that are requiring a human to interject. So I'm going to look at our first fraud case, and when I click review, our agents are actually collaborating to provide me a just-in-time user interface that's going to provide me with the most up-to-date information. So here we have Marcus. He just submitted his case today. And the reason that we're looking at it is because there were potential fraud flags identified, which is our rule for having a human interject in the process. But what's really interesting is down below that. We can see in our description that although there are 3 potential fraud flags, our agents find them all to be explainable and think that this is likely not fraud. And for even more context, I can look below and see the reasoning behind each flag. So for flag 1, our agents knew of Marcus's non-fraudulent past denial, and they were also able to explain the employer name and IP address differences. So this is saving me as a caseworker loads of time having to go through repetitive investigation steps, and I can move this process along much quicker and reduce overall fraud risk. So I feel good about dismissing this and advancing his application. I'm going to add this AI-generated note to the case, so we remember what happened here. And then at this point, I feel very confident approving Marcus for benefits on the very same day that he applied.
This is incredible work. Now, what's interesting about this, though, Tess, is the AI agents had all the information, and they recommended that this be approved. Why didn't they just approve it?
Good question. And that's because we have guardrails in place, right, for when an agent will need a human to interject. And every organization will be able to design their own decisioning framework around escalations. But I also have to point out, agents are providing us with new levels of transparency. We're going to be able to see why an agent made a decision, what they did, any other institutional knowledge. It's no longer just trapped up in someone's brain. It's going to be evident and audible, which from a compliance standpoint is huge.
Critical. Transparency is critical for adoption.
Yes.
How are we solving for that?
Let's take a look. Let's look at this transparency. So at this point, we're no longer the caseworker. We're now the administrator, and I am on my enterprise mesh dashboard. So you can see there's our unemployment benefits mesh along with all the other core functional areas within our agency. So I'm going to look at our unemployment agent mesh and just quickly expand the bottom here where we can see even more agent mesh KPIs like time to process, and even potential bottlenecks in the process itself. But if we come back out here to our agent mesh, You'll see each agent has their own relevant KPIs, but we can also see how this mesh is structured, which I think gives us some insight into how it was configured in the first place. If you look to the left, our unemployment assistant agent is actually the orchestrator. So they're going to coordinate the flow of work, pass context between the agents, and make sure that all of their outputs are really aligning to the overall goal of this mesh. And if I want to add another agent, all I have to do is click Add Agent, and I could select from our library of existing agents, or as you can see, create a new one. But let's look at some more of that transparency. So I'm going to come into my fraud detection agent. Again, loads of amazing KPIs for this agent in particular. But what I want to take a look at is our agent activity tab, where we see all of that transparency. So every action, every decision made by this agent is right here. And we can drill into, here's the action that we just took on Marcus Ellis. You can see all of the steps and the reasoning behind them. And to the right-hand side, you can see the guardrails that were in place for this agent at the time of these actions. So just, again, a remarkable level of transparency. And I can understand that this could feel futuristic for some folks out there, so I want to end here on our configuration tab. And you'll notice here that this agent configuration screen is the exact same screen that we just saw Colleen show a moment ago, powered by the Hyland Agent Builder. So these tools are available today. You can realize this future today.
Extremely important, and as we launch and release these new context engine services and new mesh capabilities, all of it is automatically available in the Content Innovation Cloud for our users.
Yes, yep, that single integrated cloud platform. And I'm glad you mentioned cloud, because I'll end on one last point here. You know, prior to 2010, government cloud use was banned. And it wasn't long before that internet use and email use were heavily restricted. So I guess my point being that a lot of these technologies that are initially deemed risky end up becoming standard practice. So I think we all collectively have an opportunity in this era of agentic AI to really level up and take the reins, because this evolution is built on your foundation. You
know, they say you can embrace AI and intelligence and shape your organization, or let AI and intelligence shape you. Incredible stuff. Congratulations. A round of applause for Tess.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks to Tess.
What you just saw in a few short minutes was an incredibly powerful demo of the kind of intelligence and productivity that can be realized in just one use case for one organization. Imagine the kinds of exponential outcomes you can realize with ubiquitous intelligence and ubiquitous automation for your organization. Now, we're obviously extremely excited. We have this bold and ambitious vision that we've radically expanded. And while we're innovating at breakneck speed, the commitment is to move even faster because of the incredible opportunity that presents itself to all of us together to innovate with content and data and realize incredible outcomes. Now, I'm super excited to say that I have a team of superstars with me on this journey to make this happen. Many of you are connecting with my leadership team here this week. And notably, I'd like to introduce you to a few updates to my leadership team: our Chief Innovation Strategist, our Chief Product Officer, and our Chief Technology Officer. Please join me in welcoming John Newton, Mike Campbell, and Tim McIntyre up on stage. Welcome, welcome. Mr. Campbell, Tim. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
I got to say, it's been an absolute pleasure working with all of you these few short months that you've been on board. We've been able to come up with some really exciting plans and innovations. Perhaps we could start with you sharing a bit about yourselves, your background. John, maybe we can start with you.
Well, I've been doing content management for a very long time. I was the co-founder of Documentum back in 1990, then went on to create an open source content management system, Alfresco, and then Hyland bought Alfresco in 2020, and last 5 years I've just been playing with AI and just having fun until you called. And you know, it was such a huge opportunity, and I'm glad to be back.
You know, what I really love about John and what really stood out for me is, you know, John is one of those unique founders that's able to disrupt himself in his own creation. He was a pioneer in the ECM space. 10 years later, left Documentum and then decided to reinvent ECM, now in an open source incarnation. And, you know, John and I saw exactly the same thing with regards to the immense opportunity with AI. So, you know, super excited to have you on board with us, John, on this journey as we reinvent ECM again. Mike, how about we go with you next?
Great, thank you. Great to be here. Unlike John, I have not spent my entire career in unstructured content management, but I have spent my entire 30-year career in enterprise software, largely in the engineering domain, where content is much more structured. I've had the opportunity to run products, very large, you know, mature products that are related to 3D solid modeling. Done some work on IoT platforms. Had the chance to build and then scale an industrial augmented reality business, which was a lot of fun, kind of pioneering a new market with a lot of leading edge technology. And then I spent the last 2.5 years applying generative AI to use cases for civil engineers, so engineering design. As a product leader, I approached the job with a clear focus on value. What I really want to do is leverage all this great technology to help all of you realize your business outcomes. And I'm incredibly excited to be here as part of the journey at Hyland.
Yeah, it's thrilled to have you. You know, I've been shouldering this burden for the last 12 months. I'm looking forward to spending a bit more time with my kids and ensuring that you're empowered to realize this big, bold future for all of us together. And with you, you have a partner in crime. You've got Mr. Tim McIntyre. Tim, a bit about yourself.
Yeah, great to be here. First CommunityLIVE. I think now I can officially say I'm part of the Hyland community, which is great. I've spent most of my career in the enterprise data and analytics space, primary and structured data, much like your background, Jitesh, at Teradata, dealing with some of the largest enterprise data and analytics problems in the world. And to bring that experience to Hyland at a time where we're marrying unstructured data with structured data to provide the value that we just saw on stage a moment ago is just super exciting. It's a fun time to be here.
It is. It's, you know, we've, in separate organizations, innovated with structured data for, you know, decade and beyond. And, you know, what was really interesting was we both saw the immense opportunity to bring similar innovations to the world of unstructured data, give it structure, and realize these kinds of incredible outcomes that you just saw. So you've been, all of you been about a few months, give or take, on board. What are you most excited about? Why don't we start with Tim? Why don't we start with you?
You know, it's the momentum that Hyland has. To see what Hyland has delivered from last year's CommunityLIVE to today. You know, everybody in our space is talking the talk around AI. But to see what we've delivered with knowledge enrichment, agent builder, IDP, and that leverage point and through line from the data that our customers are managing today inside of their ECM platforms to providing true value with AI. I mean, there is not a clear opportunity. And the way Hyland is already executing on that vision has me so excited about the future. There's not many companies and not many customers of a platform like Hyland's that have the opportunity that we have over the next couple of years.
Completely agree. And the team has done, for the team online that's watching, kudos to all of you. They've done an incredible job innovating and realizing these innovations at breakneck speed. Couldn't agree more. Mike, what's got you excited?
I don't know how anybody in this room is not excited about what you just showed here. So that's probably table stakes for everybody. But you know, I've over the course of my career, I've had the chance to participate and leverage and sometimes get washed over by various technology waves, right? Whether it's desktop computing or social or mobile or the metaverse most recently. But this AI wave is one that I think will have profound implications everywhere. And when I think about that and the advantages that we have here at Hyland in partnership with our customers, it's just a phenomenal opportunity. So I'm incredibly excited about that combination and then applying that to the industries where we have that domain expertise, right? The industry-specific use cases that can really move the needle because of that combination. I just think it's a fantastic opportunity and thrilled to be here to help drive it.
Couldn't agree more. The content management space is unstructured data. That's 80% of an enterprise's data. All decisions are made from content and data. All of us have that. All of us are responsible for that. We sit on the foundation that AI can actually be realized from. Agentic outcomes can be realized from. John, John's fun. He is my mentor when it comes to leveraging Perplexity Pro and ChatGPT Pro. The kind of product, he has analyzed all of the code bases across the many decades of innovation at Hyland. What's got you excited?
Well, you mentioned using AI on this stuff. I discovered just how deep all the code was here at Hyland. There's a lot to work with and a lot of data. I think you showed it earlier. Just the breadth and depth of all the information that's there. One thing I've learned about AI is that scale matters. The more you scale, the better these systems become, the more intelligent they become. And when you and I spoke, when I was at the beach.
U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah. When you and I spoke, something clicked. You said, you were talking about those numbers, and you said, and I think we can learn from all that information. And yeah, I think you can actually create super smart systems with the depth of data that's there. It's the scale that makes a huge difference. And nobody has the scale that you have. OpenAI, Google would love this data to be able to learn how an enterprise actually works and to start to create models of how the enterprise works. And that's going to make really powerful agents in the future.
Yeah, I completely agree. We all come from product and technology backgrounds, so we could go on geeking on about all the amazing innovation and building together, but it is truly, truly exciting times. I am super excited to have all of you on board for this journey. We've had a lot of fun. We've got a lot of work to do, and I'm excited about everything we're going to collectively deliver together. I encourage all of you to reach out and connect with John, Mike, and Tim, as well as Rob Kalustian, our Chief Customer Officer, Steve Baird, and the rest of the leadership team, Steve Baird, our Chief Revenue Officer, and the rest of our leadership team. We're doing some incredible work. Please reach out. Please connect with them. That's why we're here. That's why we're a community. Thank you all. A round of applause for John, Mike, and Tim, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. So hopefully you get a sense of why we're so excited. The incredible opportunity to innovate and power your agentic enterprise with your data, with your enterprise context, driving unprecedented automation for your organizations, realizing incredible outcomes for those that you serve. Many of you are realizing incredible outcomes today, establishing that enterprise AI foundation and working with us at Hyland to build these bold plans for the agentic future. And today, I have with me 3 innovators and leaders across industries that are joining us to share their amazing accomplishments and plans. Please join me in welcoming Valerie Stam from Rabobank in the Netherlands, Dr. Shankar Sridharan from Gosh Children's Hospital in the UK, and Jason Wolin from Benesis in the US. Valerie, Shankar, Jason, come on out. Hi. Welcome. Super excited to have you join us this week and today. I've spent time with all of them. They're doing some amazing things, and I'm excited for all of you to share with the audience all the things you're accomplishing and all the things that you are planning to accomplish in this ubiquitous enterprise intelligence and automation world. But before we start, maybe some introductions. Valerie, maybe you could share a bit about you and your organization.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
So Valerie Stam, I am leading the customer data department at Rabobank. Rabobank is one of the top 3 banks in the Netherlands and actually the leading bank in food and agri worldwide. And Rabobank is a cooperative bank, so it's not like any other bank, but we really have a mission to give something back. So it means that we don't have traditional shareholders, but we work on social projects, sustainability projects, or even local sports clubs. Actually, one of the reasons I joined Rabobank just over a year ago. The other reason I joined is because we work with 9 million customers in the Netherlands, and we can really play a big role in creating these meaningful interactions with these customers in a digital space. So I would say we are one of the AI frontrunners with some bots live and scaling POCs quite quickly, both in Gen AI and Agentic AI. But we're also creating meaningful interactions on 10 million interactions we have with our customers yearly. And for that, of course, we need good data, good, reliable data. We have about 23,000 employees using our data multiple times during the day, and about 250 applications in our landscape using that. So with over 900 million documents, I would say they contain information that is interesting for any interaction we have. Mm-hmm. So Rabobank is really at the heart of Dutch society.
Yeah. You mentioned the customer data department. That's essentially all the data in Rabobank, right? It's for compliance, it's for banking, it's the entire business. Shankar, we met at your lab in London. Please share a bit about yourself.
So, thank you for inviting me to be here. My name is Dr. Shankar Sridharan. I'm a baby heart doctor. You might think, why is there a baby heart doctor here? I can explain. I'm also the clinical lead for technology, data and analytics at Great Ormond Street, but I'm also the national clinical lead for artificial intelligence for the UK, for the NHS, and it's quite a big health system. I was brought in essentially to bring AI into the front line of healthcare. And so with some very smart colleagues, we've led the largest Gen AI program across the globe. Not just in paediatrics, but across adult care, paediatrics, mental health, primary care, London ambulance services. Why? Because healthcare is stuck in piloting this stuff, so we needed to prove that it works. And we have proved scientifically that actually this stuff makes a difference. It improves cognitive load for the clinicians, it makes healthcare more human. Look, people wait for ages for an appointment, I'm sure all of you have, and then you go to the doctor's room and they're talking to a computer or looking at the screen. Now we can allow our healthcare staff to be smarter and to provide more human care. And so that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're talking about productivity, we're talking about making a real difference. And so I think my task was to try and get stuff done, and I do a few other things.
Well, yeah, actually he does. Beyond his day job, he works at the London Zoo. Maybe you could share a bit about that.
So I'm also the cardiologist for London Zoo, and so because I'm a paediatric cardiologist, often the babies are born with hearts that are a bit scrambled, a bit like a jigsaw puzzle with pieces in the wrong place. You can have 2 left ventricles or 1 left atrium and another left atrium, for example. And so we can look at our heart and work out how the blood flows. Vets are super qualified, but when it comes to complex heart things, it helps to have a baby heart doctor. And so I scan their gorillas.
Awesome, thank you.
Just a weekend job.
Jason, bit about yourself and your organization, please.
Yeah, I'm a two-time Hyland customer now, previously in financial sector, and currently working for Benesys. We are a third-party administrator in the Taft-Hartley space, which specifically is, we manage the benefits related to unions set up and managed by the federal government. So we provide administrative services across healthcare, financial services, pensions, death, disability. All union-paying dues members pay into these funds, and the funds, based on their agreements, are responsible for administering the benefits to all of the dues-paying members. And a lot of that is, as you might imagine, outsourced, as the unions themselves don't specialize in financial management, in healthcare management, in the complexities of all of what we do. And so, of course, content, document management, we're very, very heavily involved in Hyland, and we have a tremendous amount of opportunity. I'll add that in our world, in our space, we don't have off-the-shelf software often readily available. Most of the competitors in our space, including ourselves, have built our own source systems to manage our daily operations, but having a vendor like Hyland in the market helps us to avoid having to build everything from scratch, certainly from a content management standpoint, where we thrive in the content we receive from our members, from the funds themselves to truly administer these benefits.
Yeah, it's an incredible use case. Billions of dollars administered for extremely important benefits via billions of documents. Super fun for us data and content geeks.
Absolutely. And again, spread across tens of millions of members, it's very hard to stay organized. And so we rely heavily on our systems to not only be able to stay organized, but ensure that the content is valid in the first place, ensure that we've got the right data, that we're reporting the right information back. And again, we've got somewhere around 200 clients, but those 200 clients turn into tens of millions of members' lives that we have to interact with on a day-to-day basis.
Now, all of you have realized, incredible outcomes, building the foundation of AI, realizing AI-powered outcomes. Jason, maybe we can start with you. Perhaps you could share the foundational elements that you've built and the AI outcomes you're realizing today before we speak about futures.
Sure, yeah. So, as you might imagine, historically, we're a very paper-driven business. We communicate with our members through, submission of forms, through healthcare claims. We collect a tremendous amount of information from all of our members, and to try and manage that with a small staff, with a lean staff efficiently, we rely on agentic processing. We have contract modules. For example, annually, we go through and receive collective bargaining agreements, and we need to understand each year how those changes impact the way that we administer benefits to all of our members. Well, to try and manage all of these documents, to try and communicate that information effectually to all of our staff to ensure that that administration takes place, it's been a huge step forward for us to build out a contracts module, to build out this agentic processing of the contracts, to be able to compare year over year how things are changing so that when we administer these benefits, we know exactly what's changed. Another area where we're going to start experiencing more of a lift is the ingestion of information. We have always relied on paper forms and paper forms being mailed in. So whether it's the example we saw today of being able to ingest bilingual documents coming in about the changes that our members are requesting, or to be able to publicize digital forms through the platform, through the Hyland platform, so that we can receive that information electronically to begin with, that will enable us significantly to deliver services for our members.
Yeah, it's a critical use case in document processing. Agentic document processing is a key element that of the Content Innovation Cloud that we're innovating on together.
Very much so. And again, in a lean space, especially where multilingual benefits are an absolute requirement for us, this really enables us. It is hard to always have the right person answering the phone per se, or the right, as documents come in, having a workflow that ensures that the document ends up in front of somebody who can understand it. And so to have a platform that can extrapolate that information for us, translate it, and make sure that it's consumable in front of anybody is going to make such a difference in terms of the staffing and resource requirements that we've got.
Amazing, awesome. Valerie, maybe you could go next. How are you realizing the foundation for your AI future at Rabobank with Hyland. Can you share a bit about that and your successes with AI?
Yeah, sure. So our Hyland journey started about a year ago when we were looking at a new way for more accessible, secure, and cloud-native solution for our documents. So over 900 million, and you have the important information of all our customers. So we needed something that someone who really wanted to work with us on this. So we started our cloud migration journey to Nuxio, and we're on the verge of going live. I'd hoped I could say we were live today, but we're about 3 weeks out, which is, by the way, not the delay on Hyland's side, but it's the 250 applications that we have around this that we're just working on the last bits. So confidently, I can say within 3 weeks, we'll be live.
Our Chief Customer Officer is taking notes of your date.
That's great, that's great. And once we're live with this, I mean, for me, that is the foundation of AI, because it's the first step we can set and now have more insight into all these documents, what's in there, and how can we use that properly in the future. So,
900 million documents across 9 million folks in the Netherlands, we're now able to give structure to something that's fundamentally been unstructured forever. Derive analytical insights, some of what we shared. We're really excited about the things that we're planning together. Shankar, maybe you could share a bit about the successes to date with Hyland.
I mean, this is going to sound quaint, but I don't think I can run my hospital without Hyland. They've been really good partners. They allow me to do my job better. At a fundamental level, we talk about data, we talk about letters. We're talking about health. We're talking about what's wrong with that patient. And so the moment, before I see a patient, I want to know what I said last, because my letter's awesome. I want to see what the last letter was by another doctor or another nurse, because I need to create a story in my mind of what's wrong, what's next, what do I need to do. What I don't want is a toilet roll of every single letter this patient has. I've been to other hospitals, and they go, oh, we've got this great document management system, and you kind of think, really, how do you find anything? What it gives me is time, and it gives me access to knowledge. And actually, that's just the beginning. You mentioned unstructured data. Lots of the data we have is in an EHR, a hospital system. Doctors aren't good at entering structured data, but we have huge amounts in letters, in correspondence. Finally, the ability to bring all of this together, and other systems, research publications in PubMed, what the current therapies are. This allows us to heal, to treat the sick, to do good on a scale hitherto unintended. And the AI stuff has actually shown that it's not an option. The work we've shown shows that there's a 25% increase in direct care using Gen AI. Documentation time in accident and emergency is reduced by 50%. If we scaled this capability across every accident and emergency in England, we could see 9,279 extra patients every day. I repeat. Thank you. And that, 9,279 extra patients every single day at a time when people are at their most vulnerable. And so the next bit is really to bring all of this information together. To why? To facilitate human ingenuity so that your doctors can be smarter and provide more human care. And Hyland, for us, is a key partner in that. I don't think we can do it without you. I don't want to do it without you.
You're very kind, and it's because of the partnership and the innovations that we're realizing together. In fact, when I was at your lab in London, we spoke about plans to innovate together, even get the necessary government certifications, not just for operational workloads, for also clinical outcomes. Where do you see ubiquitous enterprise intelligence and automation taking your organization, your peers next?
I think it's beyond our organization. Look, our systems are still clunky. You can look at your healthcare record, but can you actually work out what's wrong? We have an NHS app across the country. What we need to do is convey information that's understandable. So most of us, I'm a doctor, so excuse me on this bit, often people don't know what's wrong with them. Wouldn't it be great if you could show your phone and securely it shows what's wrong with you, what drugs you're on, what's next? And these time is important, but also it helps focus the next steps. And I think together we can do that. Could we create a single patient record for the UK, if not the world? Something simple that actually improves universal healthcare. Can we make sure that patients are getting the best treatment? And if they're not taking their treatment, it's flagged. Can we improve not computer-human interaction? Can we improve human-human interaction? There is so much that we can do. And actually, my son has just got into medical school. And I don't think he realizes it's such an interesting, exciting time to do medicine. Actually, it's an interesting time because the world is changing at a scale that we haven't seen before. We need to start moving forwards.
You know, you mentioned something about, was it the 10th person?
Yeah, and so I'll explain. I currently think one of the problems is us. We are a bit, with AI, we're a bit like caveman with fire, trying to burn a piece of meat, which is great. I mean, I love, a barbecue. But there's no concept that this is a rocket to take us to the moon. And currently, for an example, we have an MDT, so a multidisciplinary meeting. So I can't decide that a kid needs to go to theatre. I can in an emergency in the middle of the night. But normally we have 10 clinicians, 10 ICU doctors, lots of nurses, and we run through the case. And people have been saying, oh, it's great. AI can help with the documentation for an MDT. Really? That's not what I want. The whole reason of having these people there is they're another opinion. I want the 10th man or woman. I want an AI to say, why are you doing that? Have you considered this? I want it to argue with me. I want it to stimulate thought. I want hidden sight. I want it to see the things that I haven't seen and make me smarter. And that's what we need to do. We need to push ourselves to actually, beyond just documentation and making that easier for us, how we create delight, how we do the stuff that we haven't been able to do as well. And I think, for me, that's what's next, stuff like that, making a difference, seeing around corners, you mentioned to me.
Yeah. You said it earlier, coincidentally, it is now like electricity. You don't debate whether or not you're going to plug something in, you just plug it in and get on with it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the NHS, so currently what I'm fighting with is every hospital in the UK has FOMO. And so I have phobia, by the way, fear of being included normally. But every hospital saying, yeah, we're really into AI, we're doing a pilot. And you kind of think, why? You're going to do about 15 people, it's not going to be powered, and you're never going to scale. So I was thinking, hang on a second, did this happen when electricity came out? Did people say, I'm going to try this electricity thing? No. Accept it, move on, do what's next. And so I think this is going to be a little period, but we just need to give the world a little nudge. And the way you do it is to show cost and value.
Yeah.
Show them what can be done. And what will happen is people go, I want that.
Yeah.
We create virality. And we do that in this room. I mean, all of the use cases in your demo, I kind of think, oh my Lord, I can completely transform my hospital. All of those things, which means I now have people that can focus on getting people better.
Valerie, Shankar's obviously got big, ambitious plans. You're sitting on 900 million documents for 9 million folks in the Netherlands. How is the organization looking to leverage AI, Gen AI? Where are you going next?
Yeah, so I must say I'm as excited about the phase where we're in right now. Not about saving lives, but about giving people a better interaction with our banks.
Livelihoods, it's the financial livelihood, so critically.
It's true, and we're there in important parts of people's lives, of course. So where we're at now, we got on this AI train, and we didn't ask should we, but we got on it, and we're learning as we go. So for example, in chatbots and voice bots, we're scaling that with Gen AI as the first bank in the Netherlands, learning from it as we go. And in a document management space, of course, learning as we go. Super excited about having this migration done, because then we can really start on that journey. But other things like customer-facing, personalizing the app, for example. But what I'm maybe more excited about even is the fact that we're going to help our colleagues have more meaningful interactions with their customers. And how we're going to do that? Well, I think the next step is think of an account manager. So before they go to a meeting with their customer, they spend about 2 to 3 hours preparing that meeting. They want to go through 30 data sources with structured and unstructured data on what was the last contact they had, so the interaction history, but also the risk profile, the annual numbers of that company, sustainability reports, all these kind of things they have to read to be able to prepare themselves. It takes them 2 to 3 hours. What if we can supply that and give them a one-pager saying, these are the highlights, you should focus on this, and you probably got a cross-sell opportunity over here. We'll give them that, takes them about 15 minutes, saving them 2.5, maybe 3 hours of preparation work, which they can then spend having that interaction with the customer. So lots of opportunities on the space of where we can create more efficiency, more effectiveness, but purely to have that better interaction that matches our mission as a bank. So safe to say, I'm very excited.
It is incredibly exciting to be able to be human with each other versus staring at screens. I have had the experience when I go to the doctor where the doctor is asking questions of me but staring at the screens.
Sorry.
Jason, what about you? Where do you envision going next, taking Benesis next on this extremely important mission of yours?
Yeah. You know, I joined this business a year ago, and I'll sit here and say today this is the most complicated business model I've ever partook in my life. So Jitesh had a slide up earlier that showed all the industries, verticals that Hyland functions in, and I had to chuckle to myself that I participate in all of those. We are in healthcare, we are in insurance, we deal with government benefits, we deal with financial services. And so almost every single vertical he had up there, we administer. And our business just begins with what we call contributions, which is just member contributions. But from there, it spreads. And our business model is incredibly fragmented. So we have teams of people who oversee very specific areas of the business, and there's no knowledge outside of their wheelhouse. And so, I see everybody's concern is, job elimination, replacement by computers and AI. I see it as human enablement. And this is where we begin not being so siloed, not being so fractured as a business, so that our focus is on member service delivery instead of on business process, where, as we saw in the healthcare demo, that we can preload supporting documentation, that we can find answers. That, for example, all of our financial reconciliation becomes so complicated in our business model. Oftentimes, we don't even know if we're conveying the wrong information. To be able to have AI do the research, reconcile a GL and give us a confidence interval on that reconciliation before we make a communication to a member about their benefits would be so significantly improving to our business model, to the service that we deliver to our members, that this is, again, where we have to recognize this as human enablement. AI is human enablement. It's not coming in to replace people. It couldn't replace people, but it can bring together so much information, analyze it, and provide outcomes and results so much faster than the staff that we have today can do that.
Yeah, immense opportunity for productivity. Couldn't agree more. I could keep going on. We're out of time, unfortunately, but I do want to thank all of you for the partnership, the innovations to date together, and the plans that we're hatching on where we AI power your organizations next. And of course, for spending time with all of us today. A round of applause for our esteemed panelists. Thank you so much. Excellent, thank you. Thank you, Valerie. Hopefully you're getting a sense of the immense possibility out there and all the things that you've already been building as a foundation and the opportunities to deliver incredible value moving forward. Some of what the panelists said was really interesting. And I'll share it in this context of, if you look at the previous technology waves, they've delivered incredible amounts of value to our organizations, to our economies globally. I'll go all the way back to mainframes, mini computers, personal computers, packaged software applications for the enterprise, the internet, social, mobile, cloud, delivered immense value for our organizations, for the global economy. Embracing all of these innovations required us to spend more time with our screens and more time with our devices. What's really exciting about this era of ubiquitous intelligence and automation that we are in is it's going to automate the mundane. enabling us to spend less time staring at our screens, approving, declining, requesting more information on various queues, and more time with each other. More time working on the hardest problems for your organization, the highest ROI, the highest impact challenges to realize for those that you serve, to realize life-changing value for those that you serve. Many of you are realizing life-changing value today. Whether it's giving your members confidence in their financial livelihood, protecting them from fraud, protecting the environment, reducing maternal mortality rates, democratizing education to thousands, enabling them to upskill themselves and contribute and give back to their communities, delivering best-in-class healthcare across every department of your major health system, approving mortgages so folks can start families, approving loans so folks can realize their dreams and start their businesses, ensuring people have the protection they need in challenging times when they need it more, resolving international disputes. I kid you not. I met with the National Archives of Malaysia last year, and they shared this story. Resolving international conflict with content and data. Realizing life-changing opportunities for those that we serve today. Now, in this era of ubiquitous intelligence and automation, where you're unburdened from the mundane, just think about the kind of scale that you can realize, your organizations can realize, the kind of impact your organizations can have on all of those that you serve. Delivering life-changing value to those that you serve in your communities, for your industries. You've been building this foundation with Hyland across many years. And the time has come to break through. The time has come to break through and realize all these incredible opportunities that present themselves to you in this era of ubiquitous intelligence and automation. And as you break through, know that we, as Hyland, in this era, have already broken through. And we, as the leader, are innovating every day to realize incredible innovations to serve all of you and realize your incredible outcomes. Thank you.